Hi, it's Gus Kress, author of the Clarion Handy Tools, and today is May 14th, 2016. I'm going to be talking about this application, Handy Zip and Post to CHT Server app, which I use on a daily basis, pretty much on a daily basis, to back up my work, the Clarion Handy Tools, and all of the peripheral pieces of the Clarion Handy Tools system. Back it up onto the server. Also, as a demo, but today we're on this one, Handy Zip and Post to CHT Server app. The Clarion CHT version that I'm using is this one from March 31st, which is build 20B. Listed here, Clarion 10 active development ongoing, latest version 20B, posted March 31st. In the Clarion Handy Tools kit, amongst numerous other things listed on this page called present components, you'll see here we now have 214 applications, all of which are available either as demos or as completed utility applications. The application that I'm going to be talking about, as I mentioned, is this one. Now, I'm not going to be tearing this apart and showing you what's inside so much as how I use this on a daily basis or a fairly regular basis to back up onto a remote server. So I'm just going to start this application, and that's what it looks like. I can close Clarion now. We won't be talking about the internals of this application so much as how to use it. So the first thing we need to do is configure this application. When we configure it, we need to enter as configured on the server side a username, a user email address, a password, the server URL, and a server port, a timeout, generally a timeout of 1500 milliseconds. 15,000 milliseconds is plenty, and I'm going to be backing up into a directory called Web Backups. Again, this part is non-specific, and I've even entered bogus information in here just to show you what the configuration might look like. Before I actually use this, I'm going to put my own reconfiguration, my own configuration back in this, which I don't want made public. So I'm going to pause here and reconfigure this with the correct configuration. I'll be right back after this pause. There we go. I've reconfigured this here, and now I'm ready to begin backing up my subdirectories. I have included in my total backup scheme I believe it's 7 subdirectories. So accessory libsource win, where I have my classes located. I'm not including subdirectories because that directory alone contains all of the CHT classes. Then I have template win, accessory template win, again no subdirectories. That contains all of CHT templates. I have Clarion 10 handy apps, where I happen to have installed the handy apps, and again no subdirectories there. All the handy apps are together in that source directory. I have a directory called cproj, which is the root of all my C applications, my C# applications. I have a directory called web, where actually my website, I have a local copy of the website, and as I change files or add files to this, I upload them on a regular basis. So I have a local copy of the website. I have a directory called Clarion 10 BLD or build. This is where my own apps, the various utilities such as Web Updater, which I don't share with you in source, where I have my own applications for internal use and for server use. And here's the latest directory called C10 Handy Projects, and in this subdirectory is at this point only one Clarion project, but this will grow and you'll get this subdirectory in the next build, and there will be projects which I will be discussing, which are template-less clearing projects, compilable template-less projects, which are basically the generated code from a number of utility applications. I plan to introduce these source code projects as kits with 2 or 3 different demo applications which you can use, and perhaps non-Clarion Handy Tools subscribers can purchase these kits individually to do very specific things with the toolkit. And then number 8, so there's nothing here, it's not configured. So I have 7 subdirectories which contain CHT source code. Now, to make my life easier, I want to back these directories up on a regular basis. If I touch this field, this target zip name and location field, and click, hit the control key, hold the control key down and click, you'll see that this created a directory. Let me get rid of that zip name altogether and do it again. If I click on here, like so, the file name, the zip file name, is created using this with underscores, which is the source directory with underscores, and a date. So I have, every time I click this, I get basically a different file name with the time and date stamp on it, so that as I back these up, the next backup doesn't overwrite the previous backup of this directory. In this case, I'm only searching for all files that start with HND in the libsource win directory. All files that start with HND is, in my case, all the libsource files that pertain to Handy Tools. So let's just do that. I've got this configured correctly now. Correct file name. Click zip. You can see the files going in. The zip is created. No failures. 3 megabytes. At that point, I can just post that to the server, and it's going into that web backups directory. The next one, this is our templates. I'll just control click this, watch that 10 turn to a 14. And in this case, I'm backing up everything, name star. That's all the templates in that directory. Very short zip there. Post that to the server. The next one is the Handy Apps. This was, watch that change as I click on this. There we go. This will take a bit longer because there are quite a number of apps and DCTs. In this case, I'm searching for name contains HND and the name ends in app and DCT. Note how this syntax works. In brackets, name contains HND, or I could have used name starts with HND, and then no conjunction here, name ends in app or name ends in DCT. That's a compound statement. We'll post that up. There's 14 megabytes there, going up reasonably quickly. And that's the Handy Apps and DCTs as they are today, the day that I back up. Remember, as I do this, that each of these file names is totally separate. It's different each time I back up, and that allows me to restore a backup from a previous date or the latest one from the last date. Number 4, watch May 10 turn to May 14. There we go. This is the C projects directory, and it's a fairly lengthy directory, and I'm searching for more things. Here I'm searching for files that end in .cs for C#, names that end in .sln for solution, names that end in .csproj, and names that end in .resx, which are resource files from the from the cproj directory. That's enough to bring, if I were to lose or butcher one of these applications, that's enough to restore that directory from the zip, any directory from cproj to the zip, and from the zip, and bring that project back into a usable state. Just about done zipping there. And post that to the server. You can tell this handy zip and post CHT server application because the color scheme is different. I played around with different color schemes, and this one has this gray and blue. All right, next application or next directory, web. This is web. We'll change the file name to 14. And in this case, I'm not backing up the whole web directory because there's so much stuff there. It's pointless backing up the whole directory. So I'm only backing up the changes from the last 30 days. So initially I backed up the whole directory, which is in the first file in this sequence, and then from there on in only the last 30 days, so I can restore the entire web directory from two zips, the original zip plus then the latest zip, and combining those two I have the entire web directory. And let's zip that, and in this case there were only 2 files processed because that's all I changed since the last backup, or in the last 30 days because I was on holidays. And number 6, this is this build directory. This is the directory where I do my internal work. This contains a number of servers, apps and DCTs, solutions and CW projects and CLW files. Anything in that directory that's either an app or a project gets backed up. Web Updater, for instance, is not an app per se, it's a Clarion project, and that's 4 megabytes. There's about 17 or 18 different servers and a Web Updater in there. And the last one is this new handy projects directory. There isn't much in there yet. About 1.5 MB. Post it up. And there we go. So that completed. Now number 8, as you can see, is blank. If you haven't looked at this lately, you'll see that there's a black button here now, which brings you back home to the first configuration. So as you flip through these, you can jump back to the first configuration by hitting that center one, or step backwards one at a time. This jumps right back to the beginning. So that's how I use this handy zip and post to CHT server on a regular basis to back up the Clarion Handy tools and all of my personal work, whatever I configure in here, up onto a remote server to get my work off this machine and store it in an alternate location where I can recover it should disaster strike. All right, that's all I have on this particular application. I'm going to be doing more videos to talk briefly about many of these CHT utility applications like this one, so that you can see how I use them on a regular basis. That's it.